Okay, everybody, I listened to your requests. By popular demand, it wasn't easy, but I managed to get him. An interview with, yes, that's right, Ezra Jones, on this edition of Grace Notes. Welcome, Ezra. Do you realize that you are the most requested interviewee in this whole Grace Notes series? And I don't know why. I think maybe people feel it's like kind of like a children's sermon that's going to go off the rails pretty quickly.
Yeah, it could go off the rails, but
Yeah.
I don't know why either. But it's interesting to hear.
Yeah, finally got you. So it's good to see you.
It's great to be here.
And fortunately, I get to see you just about every week
Yeah.
online. And kind of tell people what you've been up to if they haven't seen you since March, and how your life has changed, or really not changed really much.
Well, it's interesting. I started my home office at the end of 2015. So this idea that we start working at home was not new to me. So there was no change in my activity there. I'd already been through that adjustment, and it is an adjustment because you're in an office with people, and then all of a sudden you're at home, and some people with their families, but for me, by myself.
Yeah.
So I'd already been through that adjustment. So on the work end, not a lot of changes, where our courts have pretty much stopped going to court and things, but I wasn't doing that much of that anyway. So that was not a big change for me. I think the biggest change for me was not being here on a regular basis,
Yeah.
And not seeing my friends. And I guess like most of us, we thought that this is going to go on for a month, 2 months.
Right. We'll
And
shut down for 6 weeks,
yeah,
and then we'll be back to.
It's kind of like a mini vacation, and then that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And so then we had to start dealing with the reality that this is going to go on. So my reality was to respect the virus for what it is, do what we're being advised to do, but on the other hand, not quit living life, continue to do the things that we could do
Yeah.
the way we were doing them.
Yeah.
So
People are saying that this may be a sea change. I mean, in the way that we do work, like they're talking about what's the church going to be like once
Right.
we're kind of back, and is the church ever going to be the same again? Are we going to have two campuses, a virtual campus and a
Right.
real campus? I'm wondering, do you think the practice of law is going to change in any
I think it's going
real way?
I think it's going to change in the sense that I think a lot of the law firms are figuring out that their lawyers really can work at home. I mean, because you're kind of in a production-based world. In other words, you've got to produce your work, and maybe some of the younger lawyers not so much, but I think the people that are like me that have been doing it for almost 40 years, where their partners and their firm members know they're working and they know they're taking care of things, that they're going to find out that we don't have to be together that often.
And are you doing more like virtual phone call, or like a conference video stuff, or it's the same? Pretty much the same?
Not so much. I
Yeah.
mean, that really hasn't changed. I've had a few Zoom, a couple of hearings with judges on Zoom, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But not so much. Hasn't changed so much.
Yeah.
Works about the same.
My kids, when I told them I was interviewing you, got so excited. And what many people may not know is that you are with the youth just about every Sunday at the youth group, and you really enjoy them, and they love you. When I took the kids to Montreat for the senior high conference, I think I told you this, as a chaperone with Amanda, they said all week long, Mr. Ezra would love this. We wish Mr. Ezra were here.
Well,
and I took that as a personal slight, because I think that's how they meant it.
I don't think so.
But these kids love you, and I know that you love them.
Well,
why do you still help out with the youth when your kids are grown? And
well, I do enjoy it, and when I'm in town, I'm there, and I do enjoy being with them. And I've obviously done it a long time, and there are youth that have been through the program now that are married and have children that are 4 and 5 and 6 years old, which is
Yeah.
kind of interesting. It's
Yeah.
makes me feel a little older, but they're a lot of fun, and I enjoy being around them. And you know, I'd planned to go to Montreat this last year with them,
Yeah.
but of course we didn't get to go
Yeah.
in July.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but they're a lot of fun. But it is time to start looking for my replacement, though. And I say that sincerely
Yeah.
because, you know, when Amanda was here, we had Amanda and we had a man and a woman, and now that Benjamin's here, you know, I really think we need to look for somebody. So this is an advertisement
Right,
for
and
that.
even more people
that
to
we,
help
we
out
really
with that.
need we
Yeah.
really need a woman, I think, to balance that
Yeah.
out, and not because I think it would help, and also for our safety policy and those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I enjoy it, and you know, we're going to do Thanksgiving dinner Sunday night.
Yeah.
So that's the
I
plan.
know the boys especially love that you come because they always know that they're not going to be the loser in paintball, dodgeball, basketball.
I think my dodgeball days may be over.
Yeah.
And paintball, now paintball I'm pretty good at.
Yeah?
So yeah, I
Okay.
can hold my own in paintball.
And I've seen that Andrew Upchurch and Jack McCabe have been coming too.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
great. Our new middle schoolers,
Yeah.
our new sixth
Yeah,
graders. Yeah.
they're great to have around.
So one of the questions I've been asking people is how have you stayed connected to God, or where have you seen signs of God's grace kind of in these crazy times? Obviously, you've been continue to be active with the youth group. Maybe talk about other ways that you are nourished spiritually, and maybe a surprising way by kind of
Yeah, I mean,
this season we're in.
I think one of the things that I thought was almost divine was the spring that we had was so beautiful, and so I spent a lot of time outside, and that was really a good thing because, you know, I have a lot of space at my house, inside and outside, and I thought about those people that were in smaller environments, and you know, the idea that everybody stays at home, it sounds like a great idea, but you know, if you really think about it, everybody's not at home together.
They're not used to it.
They're not
yeah.
used to it,
Yeah.
and some people don't have great places to be,
Yeah.
and they need their space and they need to be away. You know, I don't know. I think God's hand's in this, and I think we will be better off for it once it's over. I can't honestly say that I, you know, see it every day, but there are times when I feel it, and I think we will be better. And I think a lot of people have, you know, for better or worse, they've learned to live with those people that they live with, you know, and get to know them a little better, and that's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
And you know, in a different kind of way, doing the virtual church may actually help us some. I think we've reached some people maybe that we weren't reaching.
Yeah.
My hope is that when we get back, that our habits will go back to the old habits of coming, and we won't have people that'll say, well, you know, it's so nice to be on my couch with my coffee and watch this great minister give this
Yeah.
great sermon, and I don't have to get out in the cold or if it's raining or whatever. But of course, the flip side to that is now that they're seeing how we can do that, when they can't get here, there's a great option for
Yeah.
them. So,
And you've been coming when you've been able to. You came to the outdoor worship here in
Yeah.
the courtyard,
Yeah.
and you've come to the indoor too. So maybe tell people what the outdoor experience was like for you, and then what it was like to be back in the sanctuary, even though you're social distance and a mask.
you know, the outdoor was great, and of course it's a lot more work for you because you've got to do it twice, and but that might be something we want to consider. Even when we're back to more normal, would
Yeah.
we do that? You know, our congregation is not so big that we need 2 services to accommodate everybody, but it's really unique to be out here, and
Seasonally, I think it could work.
yeah,
Yeah.
and do that, and
Yeah.
and of course we had plenty of space, and I thought it was wonderful, and inside, I think inside is fine. I know people are very apprehensive about that, but the people that come regularly to church know that we have plenty of room inside,
Yeah.
and we do have room to spread out, and everybody understands that. And for the most part, most everybody could sit where they usually sit too, and those people that have those seats anchored down can go to their places, and some of us that are either in the choir or don't have a place we always go to can spread out. And it's good to see everybody, even though we can't spend as much time with them. Because once the service is over and we're back out here, then we have plenty of space where we
Yeah.
can talk like we're talking
Right.
now, and you can visit,
Yeah.
and that's a
Yeah.
good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're our resident guitarist. How is
One of several resident guitarists.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know you do like a spring and fall concert series on your porch. Did they ever call the police, your neighbors, or do they just call you?
No, to my knowledge, they've never called the police. I have not received any negative feedback yet. I wouldn't exactly call it a concert series. It's more about a spur of the moment thing.
Oh,
you
is it?
know. Yeah, I have my immediate neighbors have two school age children, so always trying to do something. If we do it on Friday or Saturday
Not
when
too
they're not
late.
in school, and not too late, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. Every now and then I have people walking up down the street. I'll see them sit over on the curb, you know.
Do they?
Yeah, oh yeah, I've seen a couple of those. They don't stay that
That's
long,
great.
but you know. And I did get a nice note in my mailbox one day, which was interesting. So
Oh my gosh, that's
I
great.
found that, you know, I'm better in smaller doses, so I try not to do that too often.
Yeah?
You know, because if you do it too often, then you know.
They say leave them wanting more. I try to do that with my sermon. I don't know if I ever get that. You know, you want to stop when people still want just a little bit
Right.
more. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a big UGA football fan.
Yeah.
You've actually been to a football game.
I went to the Georgia-Auburn game. It was very surreal to be in that place that big with about 15,000 people. But
Yeah.
but it was an experience. And again, everybody seemed to be, you know, following the rules and wearing their mask. And but it was nice to be able to get in and out without the crowds. I have to tell you, not being around these huge crowds is. I mean, I know we need them to make
Yeah.
our world work,
Yeah.
and it's fun when you're there with them. But it was an experience,
experience,
and I'm glad
yeah.
I did it.
Ezra Jones, you are youth volunteer, choir member, you're guitarist. You've been an ear of corn at this church, right?
I have.
A camel?
Tim, there may be people that don't know that. Yes, I have been. I've actually had a few speaking parts too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Done just about everything for a long time, and you're
Well-
well loved, and I'm
Well,
glad you
thank
could
you.
do this. I know people are going to really enjoy it. So get ready,
Yeah.
because you may be getting some text messages, emails, and phone calls.
I'm sure it won't be overwhelming.
Oh, and I'm wearing my fishing shirt
Nice.
in the spirit of meeting with you. So we
Yeah.
need to do some fishing
We need to do some
in
fishing,
2021, because we can do that outside without masks.
and we can do it at any time.
Yeah.
And in fact, the winter, you know, January and February are good times to trout fish over in the Chattahoochee.
Let's do it.
When we get a day like this, when it won't be this warm maybe, but yeah, and the water's clear, we
Let's
should
do
do
it. I love it. Thanks,
Yeah.
Ezra.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's been fun.